What is the role of wellness in terms of both diet and exercise and your approach to that when you're treating?
Having a lifelong weight problem, I hate the word exercise. I hate the idea of exercise. And by the way, I've had long stints where I love doing it. But at the end of the day, I tell everyone exercise is needed for your mental health, 100%. We know it is relaxing. Depending on what you're doing, it's relaxing. Or it's releasing endorphins if you're the runner who gets the high. And then also back to that metabolic piece, if you're exercising regularly, you're less likely to have inflammatory diseases. So kind of all plays into one. But I tell people exercise doesn't have to be cardio. It can also be go outside and throw the football with my kid. That is exercise. So that is a big priority. And I match that with it's a big priority to get some sunshine. So, but yeah, that is absolutely key.
What is the role of diet in keeping your mental health in optimum shape?
Dietary interventions can play a huge role in mental health. And the simple one would be where when I do the oats test, the organic acids, one thing that can show up in there is oxalates. And oxalates are linked to anxiety, depression, mood swings, just overall mental wellness. Well, then there's the solution. Eliminate the oxalates from your diet. But here's what nobody likes to hear. The oxalates fall into what most people consider healthy. Spinach, potatoes, nuts, raspberries. Nobody likes it when I tell them to take those out of their diet. But what if you did and your anxiety went down?
Is there a way that you personally find to be optimal for mental health to eat?
I believe that a primarily carnivore diet is showing in the research to be really a good way to go. It is not easy for people to stay mostly carnivorous. So the next thing, and also the biggest research area, falls back into that metabolic psychiatry. It's the ketogenic diet. And then after that, and also kind of all in a blob, I would say, you can put paleo, keto, and carnivore. And somewhere in there is the sweet spot where people can be successful. People with some eating issues, sometimes they love carnivore because they can eat as much as they want. Here's the boundaries. It's easy. We take all the decision making away. You don't have to do any fancy cooking, and you just eat your meat and you go. But the people who love to cook, who like to do different things, they might do better on a paleo diet. And then they still have a lot of variety. They can still eat seasonally. They can still have a mixture of fruits and vegetables. And then the in-between is keto. Keto is a little bit hard right now because it's all over grocery store magazines, and they've kind of really confused a ketogenic diet. So I do therapeutic ketosis. That is a little bit different than what you're seeing on Women's World at the grocery store. But therapeutic ketosis has been well established for over 100 years as a true medical intervention for seizure disorder. So we have 100 years of data that it is safe and reasonable for seizures. And longer story, but that translates pretty well into bipolar treatment.